Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the life path forecast for June 2023. The life path forecasts are different from the personal month forecast, so make sure that you check the calculations to make sure you've got the right ones before you listen. Now, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading where I'll take a deeper dive into your own personal numerology, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I'd love to work with you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at each individual life path number for June 2023. Life path number 9. So June for you all does have the potential to be a very transformative month, okay? And I say that because I pulled an animal spirit message for you and you got bat energy. I'm going to talk about that. But then you're also working with the energies of the 13-4. Anytime we have 13-4 energy, it's death, transformation, rebirth, right? And so something has to fall away. Something has to be sort of reevaluated and dismantled potentially to be rebuilt. And to be rebuilt in a way that you're building something beautiful from something not so beautiful, right? So 4 energy is going to make you look at your foundation. It's going to make you look at where you're investing your energy. It's going to make you really pay attention to the finer details. And anything that's not working, you're going to have to release, remove, or dismantle. And either you'll do it by invitation or the universe will do it by divine intervention, right? And so, and then after that sort of dismantling, that sort of getting down to, again, the sort of root of whatever this is, then you will rebuild. And what you are meant to rebuild is something that feels very aligned, that feels very much from your heart center, that feels like it's contributing towards something of a greater good, right? Or towards a greater good for yourself and others. So anytime, again, 13-4 energy comes in, what it's going to do, it's going to find where there's pressure points. It's going to find where there are cracks in the foundation, and then it's going to put pressure on it, and it's going to keep putting pressure on it until it either cracks and falls away, or until it's just so in our awareness that we have to do something about it, right? And then whether that means releasing a connection, changing jobs, moving something, right? Some kind of shift in our foundation that is moving towards something much richer, much more organic, much more aligned with where we need to be going, right? Much more sustainable. So you couple that with the bat energy. Anytime we have bat energy, right, you think about them in caves in the darkness, right? But they're hanging upside down. So they're seeing life through a different perspective. They're seeing things differently, right, than we would. So when bat energy comes in, it's asking you to shift or open your mind, right? To be open to new or different perspectives, to see things through a different lens. And a lot of times it's easy to say that, but it's sometimes harder to do unless we experience something that then shifts our awareness, right? A lot of times we're so sort of ingrained and immersed in our experience, obviously, that it's hard to see things from a different perspective unless we meet someone who offers us an experience that shifts our perception, or just life brings us an experience, again, that forces us to see things differently through the experience, right? So it's not usually just about, well, I want a different perspective, so I've got a different perspective. Usually something has to happen. Some kind of shift needs to occur. And a lot of times that's brought about by external factors, right? So whether we read something that triggers something within us, or someone says something, or someone does something, or again, we're just find ourselves in a new place or a new territory to explore. The experience often will sort of drive the perception, right? Or the change in perspective, right? So it's very possible for you nines that this month will bring some kind of very physical 13-4 shift that then requires or asks of you to see things differently and then approach things differently. Now, this is only going to show up really where there needs to be some kind of transformation, where there needs to be some kind of shift in perspective. Because if things are working, or if they are built sustainably, then there's nothing to really fix there, right? There's no, why fix what's broken? Unless it's just a course for expansion and growth, which is also possible. But this is really more going to be more focused on putting pressure on the places where there are fault lines, right? Where there are, Band-Aids sort of holding things together, or things we're avoiding because they're too difficult to deal with. This energy is going to sort of put the pressure on that, force us to deal with it, force us to look at it, and force us to get really intimate with it, right? To understand it at a deeper level, to see it from a different perspective, and to move through it and transmute it in some way, while also building something better on top of it, right? In its place. So again, I would say this has the potential to be a very transformative month for you all. There could potentially be a lot around needing to surrender to the things that you can't control. With 4 energy, there can be sort of this need for control, or this feeling like you want to control the outcome or the environment. But the 13 energy reminds you very quickly that there are some things in life we can't control, right? And so the bat energy is saying surrender to what you can't control and try to go with the flow as much as possible. Because where that sort of flow is taking you is going to be towards something much more sustainable, something much more aligned and beautiful for your own journey and the journey of others. This can also, with bat energy coming through, can also bring about like prophetic dreams, prophetic experiences. And so pay attention to your dreams this month. They can also be very profound, right? So something with a much deeper message tied to it. So pay attention to what someone says to you that really resonates, or really like creates a charge, uncomfortable or comfortable. Pay attention to your dreams, write them down. The ones that you remember, the ones that you like wake up and you're like, wow, there's something deeper here and I can't forget it type thing. The dreams that you wake up and you forget, yes, there might be something there, but you can't force it. So, but those dreams, those profound dreams or those prophetic dreams, you're not going to forget those. Those are going to keep showing up during the day as reminders of there's a deeper message here. What is it, right? There's also this energy with bat about facing darkness. So moving through it in a way that feels aligned for you, right? Because we do have a sixth sense, right? We are able to, through our intuition, through that gut feeling, through our sort of psychic energy, we are able to see through the darkness, right? So many times we're faced with so many illusions that if we don't go beyond the surface, then we're not getting the whole story, or we're not seeing the full picture. And so it is like moving through darkness in some ways. So there is something here about really paying attention to your intuition, to those, again, intuitive hits that come through for you, because there's something there potentially, right? So dig deeper, go deeper, use your sonar, use your intuition to go beyond the surface level, to see what's in there, to see what you can find out, right? And through that sort of digging deeper or following your intuition, it will point out where there's fault lines, where there are some cracks in the surface or your foundation that need to be addressed, okay? So just remember that anything that kind of comes up this month that feels like a pressure point or feels triggering or feels like the universe is being relentless with you and keeps like redirecting you back to this thing, whatever this thing is, or you keep meeting people that keep triggering the same things within you, that's really showing you where there's some fault lines within your foundation, body, mind, spirit, right? Or physical experience. And so listen to that, right? Follow those trigger points and see where they take you, because it's going to show you where the fault lines are and where there needs to be some TLC, some extra tender love and care put there, right? And it needs to be addressed, right? This is not a month for like avoiding these trigger points or trying to shove it under the carpet. This is something where it has to be addressed. And the 13-4 is going to make sure that it gets addressed, right? Because it's kind of like Pluto energy. So this sounds big and heavy and, big, but it's really just saying those areas where there needs to be some extra pressure put so that you put your focus there and clean it up. Is probably what's going to surface this month for you all, right? But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's sort of forcing you to look at those things that maybe you didn't want to look at or don't want to deal with. But if you can just deal with it and move through it, and whether that's getting assistance from a therapist or a healer or whatever calls to you, this is a great month to do that, right? Get those foundations solid so whatever you're putting on top of those foundations can be sustainable, can sort of last the test of time. So, and definitely be open to new perspectives, be open to seeing things differently. Don't be too quick to keep falling back to your own belief systems or mindsets when the external is trying to show you something different, okay? So big month potentially ahead for you all, but it's a good thing, okay? Take care, everyone. Bye for now.